taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Full Velocity Network, live here tonight with the SRA 711 Super Truck Series at the Richmond International Raceway for the running of the XFM Ram 160 tonight. An awesome event on hand. The final event of the regular season for the SRA 711 Super Truck Series. I believe this will be the 8th time we've had them on the air in 2017. We'll do so once again here live tonight on the Full Velocity Network. Thank you for being a part of the Ultimate Esport experience this evening. My name is Phil Lacasse, along with my longtime partner Todd Stanton, alongside Joe Allen, as always, aboard the controls for us on the Full Velocity Network. And Todd, great to come back to the Super Truck Series, and it's the end of the regular season. It's time to lock in the Super Chase grid. 16 drivers that are going to get in. 15 of those are locked in. We're down to that one precious spot here tonight.
Yeah, definitely down to that one precious spot, and a lot of guys buying for that spot. A lot of guys in must-win situations here tonight to try to get themselves into that Super Chase here tonight. Craig Meyer did show up. He's right now sitting in 16th. He has the points there, Phil, so it's going to be difficult. The rest of the guys down below are in must-win situations because of the strength of the field here tonight.
Yes, absolutely. We've got, 15 drivers currently locked in, 10 by the way of victory. 5 are locked in on points. That one spot, as Todd said, Craig Meyer currently 16th. But, we look down at the list of guys eligible tonight. I see the likes of Blake McCandless, Robert Bauckham, those two drivers, but the only two mathematically eligible to come in and win the race and race their way in. So there's a lot of drama and implications to come here live tonight on FVN. But before we put this thing under the green flag, let's throw a trackside for tonight's national anthem. All right, back here at the Richmond International Raceway for race number 26 of the Sim Racing Association's flagship 711 Super Truck Series here tonight as we end the regular season here and lock up the grid for the Super Chase that'll start next week here. We'll have 2 races in those chase here live on the Full Velocity Network, including the finale at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Cannot wait to get there as well. Check out our full schedule on fullvelocitynetwork.com. But Todd Stanton, these trucks are getting ready to grid already. We'll see if we can't talk to Joe here quick before we go green. Let's dive straight into tonight's starting lineup.
The starting lineup here tonight at the Richmond International Raceway. Starting on the pole, the guy that's in a must-win situation here tonight, driving the 166, that's Blake McCandless. And his dancing partner to the outside, driving the number 40, that's Brandon Lawson.
Row number 2, we find 2 drivers locked into the Super Chase. That, of course, the 30 of Corey Carpenter. Going to roll off from a 3rd spot tonight. And to his outside aboard the Bud Light number 16, that's Jason Justice.
Starting inside row number 3, starting that 5th starting position, driving the 118, another driver to keep your eye on here this evening. Another guy with a must-win situation, that's Robert Bauckham. And outside of him, driving that number 53, that's Justin Malello.
Position number 7 tonight, I should say, becomes the number 4 truck. That'll be GT Arizari. Haven't seen him in a while. Good to see him out. And to his outside, aboard number 5, he's also locked to the Super Chase. That's David Day.
Next row back, starting at 9th starting position, the guy that's right now fighting on the bubble. Driving the number 88, that's the Punisher. That's Craig Meyer. And outside of him, driving the 121, that's Steve Looney.
Rolling off from row number 6 tonight, we find the driver of a 26. That is Grant Wesley. And to his outside, aboard the 9, that's Frank Divins.
Maverick Morrow brings up position number 13. Outside of him, driving the number 31. In that 14th starting position, that's Derek Justice.
And shotgun on the field tonight, we find the 76 of Noah Carmichael. In rolling shotgun, 16th position, we find the 64 of Toby Robertson. That is your full field starting lineup for 160 laps there, Todd, around the Richmond International Raceway. You know, it's a big night here on the Full Velocity Network. We're going to see who's going to lock their way to the Super Chase. Craig Meyer there. The likes of Blake McCandless, Robert Barkham can win their way in. But let's see where it's going to go. Green flags in the air.
The loud pedal is down, going down into turn number 1. McCandless trying to win the drag race down here into turn 1. Going to do so. The preferred groove down on the bottom side. Blake McCandless takes that lead away from Brandon Lawson, sliding up in front of Lawson. Here comes Corey Carpenter down to the bottom side, net number 30.
Corey Carpenter and that Verizon machine can't quite make the run on Lawson. Jason Justice is going to try to make something happen in the high lane. He's going to get loose. That's going to open the door for the 53 of Justin Malello. That's going to be a side-by-side race to first for the night. That's for 4th into turn 1.
Malello puts himself into that 4th position, drifts up the track. Here comes David Day down to the bottom side, sticking his nose in there, trying to make something happen here early on in the going. That's Mr. Excitement, David Day in that number 5. He's going to move himself up into that 4th position, 2 for Dale, as he seals it out of the corner.
And passes 2 there through turns number 3 and 4. He put Jason Justice to the rear, also got by Justin Malello, and he's going to make a run for that top 3 positions. Those guys trying to run away and hide. The 5 not going to let them get there whatsoever. The best race on the speedway, Todd, looks to be for that 5th spot. Malello has drifted up high. Jason Justice to the low side. That's going to be side by side for 5th down the front stretch.
Yeah, Justice down on the bottom side, trying to fight with the 53 of Malello. Malello up on the top side of the speedway in that bright yellow machine, that sprint sponsor machine. He's going to give up that position to Jason Justice at number 16. It puts Malello back. Another spot here. Another interesting tidbit. We did not see Taylor Morgan's grid there, Phil. He was on the lineup, but he's out there on the track just motoring around here real slow.
That's another guy locked into the Super Chase and a 12-time pole winner this year, but by way of not qualifying, he's going to have to start this race from 1 lap down. So it's going to, be a run for Taylor Morgan if he's going to get back to the lead lap. But meanwhile, Todd, looking back up to the front of the field, Brandon Lawson had a run at Blake McCandless for the race lead. He slipped up just a little bit and opened the door for Corey Carpenter, the number 30. Moved to Corey now up to that 2nd spot, still chasing Blake McCandless off of turn number 2.
Yeah, Corey Carpenter running in that 2nd spot. And that number 30 machine right now running 3rd is Brandon Lawson. David Day up to 4th. And that number 5 machine, 16 of Jason Justice. He's running 5th. Justin Malello, 6. GT Irizarry running in that 7th spot. And the number 4 machine, Maverick Morrow, Robert Balcom, and Craig Meyer. Those are your top 10 right now running trucks here at the Richmond International Raceway. These guys battling out, duking it out. Here comes David Day the 3rd.
David Day to the low side for that 3rd spot. Move Brandon Lawson up to the high lane. Brandon, a 3-time winner this season. David Day, a 2-time winner, trying to move his way forward to that, black and orange number 5. Looks like he'll make that spot. That's going to open the door to bring Jason Justice into the 16, also into the race as well. Brandon Lawson here, Todd, stuck in the high lane. Not a place you want to be stuck here at Richmond.
Definitely not a place, but he's fending off these hard-charging guys right behind him, though, pretty well. This is Jason Justice trying to work over the bottom side, and then number 16 machine. He's got Lawson. It looks like he's going to clear Lawson here finally. Now Justin Malello on the line, freight train on the bottom side here as he left that door wide open to everybody jump down to the bottom.
Everybody down to that bottom side. And Joe Allen, usually preferred groove at Richmond. You want to be hugged around that bottom side of the racetrack. And right now, does not appear to be a second groove out there. Looks like no grip in the outside lane. May see a low side racetrack all night long at Richmond, which is usually pretty typical.
Yeah, it's certainly something that's typical around here, and we could see that change as the race continues to wind down and these guys put some wear on their tires. And, as the guys continue to build heat in these things, you could see guys start to move around looking for the most grip and where the speed is in the racetrack. But as you said it, as of right now, it's really a bottom feeder track. It looks like it's really tough out there to pass, and I know Blake McCandless, he was talking about the setup a little bit earlier, how it has sort of a loose and a tight feeling to it depending on where you land in the corner and how it reacts in the center of the corner, which may make this a little more difficult on some of those guys out there as well. But it should be interesting. It looks like we got ourselves a little bit of a green flag run going here, and tires could really turn into a thing at Richmond. So that'll definitely turn into and add to the complexity of this race as we move forward.
Oh, absolutely. And you look out to the front there, Joe. Blake McCandless, a broadcast partner of us, if you will, out there. He's got a nice, beautifully prepared full velocity network machine out there in the race lead. But as a guy who has to race their way in and win one of these things to make that super chase, you've got to think that, our buddy Blake, he's going to be digging all night long, as is Robert Balcom. He's also in that same situation. Win and get in. Robert right now currently in that 9th spot, so he's got a long way to go. But if you're Blake McCandless, you're right where you need to be out there leading.
Oh, definitely. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. With Craig Meyer showing up, that really changed things. But, you can't ever count a guy like Robert Balcom out. I think we all kind of recognize Robert as one of those guys who is a short track ace out here in Richmond. Definitely a place where Robert is very successful. He's been successful in the past. I know there was a stretch last year when I was out there on the racetrack where it felt like every week we went to Richmond, Robert was there, and he was the one guy that I couldn't seem to beat. So don't count Robert out of this. He's kind of minding his own business back there in the top 10 here, just minding his P's and Q's, saving his equipment, saving his tires, and I expect Robert to be there towards the end of this thing. Blake's not going to have an easy run at trying to get a win here, but, if anybody can do it, Blake certainly can as well.
Oh, he certainly can, but looking out to the front of the field right now, Blake McCandless with the race lead. Corey Carpenter, Todd, is all over the tire tracks of Blake, not letting him get away, but the race on the racetrack has been for that 3rd spot. Jason Justice was just claiming that spot. David Day, Justin Malello, and Brandon Lawson, those 4 trucks have been just changing that battle back and forth. That's a great 4 to 5 truck race, racing off of that 3rd spot into turn 1.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good race there. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th even in the battle here. You got GT Arizari in the battle, the thick of things. Brandon Lawson right there. These guys have been watching them. It almost looks like a dirt race on a Saturday night, Phil. These guys are going sideways. The SN's kicking out on them around these corners. But these guys keep it under control here at Richmond right now. The setup seems a tick loose here into the corner as the tires start wearing. But the number 5 of David Day right now prevailing on the bottom side was as Justin Malello trying to take over that top spot. Or on the top side to the 3rd spot. Malello right now able to pull off the pass here briefly. I think he's going to actually be able to have a power move off the top side of the speedway, put Malello to 3rd.
Put Malello to 3rd. Same situation, 2 trucks behind them. Jason Justice has made a run around GT Arizari using that same high lane. So maybe as these tires start to wear a little bit of rubber gets into this racetrack, we may after all see 2 grooves, which is going to make for an awesome race here at Richmond tonight. 18 laps of 160 up on the board as they hit the start-finish line to click off lap number 19. It is still Blake McCandless, your race leader, Corey Carpenter, Justin Malello, David Day, Jason Justice, your current top 5. 6th is GT Arizari, 7th Brandon Lawson, Robert Balcom's now up to 8th, Maverick Morrow 9th, and Craig Meyer currently rounds out that top 10 ton. Balcom, as you say that, he's also now made up position on the Brandon Lawson machine. So just as Joe said, don't count Robert Balcom up, Todd. He's now up to 7th, and he looks to be on the charge coming forward.
Yeah, definitely on the charge is Robert Balcom. One of my favorite paint schemes that Robert Balcom runs at Castro GTX. My father was a big supporter of Castro GTX, and great to see that scheme out there. Right now running in that 7th position, now trying to track down GT Irizarry in that number 4 machine. Robert Balcom minding his P's and Q's, working his way, picking them off one by one. He's a great tire conserver here at the Richmond International Raceway. We're just going to have to wait and see if Balcom can actually prevail here at the end of this event.
I'm puzzled looking up and down the list and not sure what happened here in the opening laps, but I saw the likes of something going on. 4 trucks are 1 lap in the rear or more. Derek Justice, Taylor Morgan's, we know started on pit road, so he had to start 1 lap down. But also Frank Divins and Toby Robertson finds himself back in 16th, 3 laps to the rear. So I'm not sure what happened on the opening laps. Didn't see any as far as trouble or anybody on pit road. So not sure what happening there, but we have 12 of 16 left on the lead lap. A lot of racing left to go. 22 laps, 160 at Richmond. It feels like kind of a short race, but at a plate, at 21, 22 seconds a lap, laps can go off in a hurry. But Richmond, Todd, being that rhythm racetrack it is, it's a place that can wear you out in no time at all. And as much as laps click off here, 160 laps is a long, trying night at Richmond.
It definitely is a long trying night, and it's one of those things, Phil. I mean, you get into rhythm. You really don't want to see that yellow flag because that busts you out of your rhythm, and that's when you see some of these drivers make some mistakes when that yellow flag flies. Tires could come into play here with these guys, but they're up front right now, clicking off laps. And this is one of those things that I like, especially at like a Martinsville or a Richmond or any of the short tracks at Bristol. The rhythm. You stay in your rhythm, you keep going, but when those yellow flags fly, that breaks you out of your rhythm, and it sometimes plays into the fact of some of the guys in the middle of the pack as your rhythm is now broken. But these guys right now doing a really good job at keeping these trucks underneath them. And Blake McCandless and Corey Carpenter starting to walk away a little bit from Justin Malello.
Yeah, they are starting to walk away a little bit. Of course, the last race of the regular season for the SRA 711 Super Truck Series. As we said, it's 16 trucks that are going to qualify for the Super Chase. 15 already have their positions locked in. 10 by the way of victories, and just looking at the list of guys that are locked in on those victories. 6-time winner this year, our buddy David Schildhouse, not with us tonight, but he's locked into the Super Chase, as is 3-time winners Brandon Lawson and Maverick Morrow. 2-time winners are Jason Justice, Taylor Morgans, Matt Watkins, and David Day. They're all also locked in, as is Derek Justice, Justin Malello, and Corey Carpenter. Those 10 drivers have won races so far and stayed in the top 25 in the standings. That locked them in to the Super Chase that'll begin next week, I believe, at the Chicagoland Speedway. But looking down on the list here, the other 4 drivers locked in by way of their position in the points. We find the likes of Jeffrey McClintock, also not with us tonight. He's also there. Steve Looney is locked into the Super Chase. He's got a 160-point buffer, so he's no way in jeopardy here tonight at all, as is Frank Divins, Bobby Farrell, and also Grant Wesley. Those 15 drivers are all eligible for the Super Chase that's going to start next week. And those last spot, as we said tonight, Craig Meyer, currently 16th in the standings without a win. He's in that position to make it on points unless a new winner is to emerge, which on the list we have here tonight, 2 drivers eligible in the field are Robert Balkum and Blake McCandless. Robert now, Todd, has marched his way up to that position number 6 alongside GT Irizarry. Blake McCandless, the other driver eligible, he's been parading this field from the pole, and 30 laps in, he's still out there with the lead doing everything he's got to do.
Yeah, definitely doing everything he's got to do, trying to keep the 30 right now of Corey Carpenter at bay. Carpenter's been riding back there. He's got about 3 or 4 car lengths on Carpenter now. It looks like Malello's starting to close the gap just a little bit in that 53 machine. And Malello starting to run down these guys just a wee bit. Just looking through the field, looking to see who's faster. I'm trying to give you an update on Robert Balkum. Balkum right now running in 6th. He finally got around GT Irizarry. Look at Balkum go. Balkum now chasing down Jason Justice as he pounds the outside wall just a little bit, making a love tap to the outside wall here at Richmond International. And that's Jason Justice. Robert Balkum now all over him. Now Jason Justice looking up at his mirror, Phil. It's got to be going through his head. Robert Balkum, he knows he's good on a long run, and Balkum is on the move.
Oh, he's certainly on the move. Looks like the fastest truck on the racetrack at this juncture of the race, and he's a guy who's no stranger. Short track guru is a guy who has just worn me out at Richmond many, many times before. I've seen him win many a races here, and no surprise at all. And, what better guy behind the wheel at Richmond in a win-and-get-in scenario than the 118 of Robert Balkum. But we talk about this SRA 711 Super Truck Series. There's a lot of awards and stuff that go into the series, thanks to Frank Divins at Extreme for all the great work he's done. But putting a lot of this together, we have a lot of great awards like the XFM Pole Award that went to Blake McCandless tonight. Taylor Morgans leads the series with 12 XFM Pole Awards, which, if you can believe it, is just an absolute incredible feat in itself. You also have the Blue Dreams halfway, the lap leader award, I should say, the half.com Halfway Leader Award is also there, sponsored by Extreme Motorsports. The Insomniac Sherwin Williams Fastest Lap of the Race Award, awarded to the fastest driver of the race, obviously. The Advanced Carpentry Hard Charger Award, awarded to the driver who gains the most positions in the race. The Goody's Extreme Headache Powder Award, awarded to the driver within the race who has the worst luck. Some of the great awards put on by some of these guys. Todd, you also have notes in front of you. You can also carry a little bit of this as well. But, guys like Taylor Morgans with that XFM Pole Award has had a great year. Taylor also leading the series in laps led by like a 2/3 margin of everybody. He's led over over 740 laps this year, which is absolutely incredible if you think about it. Guys like Derek Justice have won the Insomniac Sherwin Williams fastest lap leader award. So a lot of great awards to the series.
Definitely a lot of great awards. I'm looking up and down through here. I'm trying to skip through my notes as I was a little ill prepared. Surprise, surprise here tonight. A little bit under the weather, trying to get everything back together. And just looking up and down the awards, the list of awards that these guys got going on here tonight, it's just amazing. You're looking at Maverick Morris that leads the series for the most advanced Carpentry Hard Charger awards there, Phil. Matt Walker's still second. I mean, we're just looking at halfway awards. Halfway awards, Taylor Morgans leads the series with the most extreme halfway challenge awards. I mean, there's all kinds of awards up and down this series. These guys have put a ton of work in here, and kudos to everybody that has put a ton of work into this series. I mean, Jason, Derek Justice, Frank Dibbins, all the sponsors, all the drivers that have done everything. They've done a fantastic job.
No, they certainly have. Fantastic job indeed. What an awesome series, and it's been great to watch it unfold here for the first 25 races. And now, of course, here for the end of the regular season, as we're already 1/4 of the way home, 40 laps of 160 in there, and it's Blake McCandless still your race leader. Corey Carpenter still second. Justin Malello, those top three guys have driven away. Got a 4-second gap now over fourth place running Robert Balcom. He's charged his way down, position number 4. Jason Justice has fallen to 5th. Brandon Lawson is 6th. GT Arizari 7th. Maverick Morrow is 8th. David Day has fallen all the way back to that 9th spot, and Steve Looney currently rounding at your top 10. But as we said, the 118 of Robert Balcom, the fastest truck on the racetrack, and he's starting to cut into that interval a little bit more at a time every lap there, Todd.
Yeah, indeed he is. He's running in that 4th spot in that 118 machine. He's trying to start to track down the 53 of Justin Malello. Malello is in turn tracked down to number 30 of Corey Carpenter. That will be a battle for that 2nd spot. But already Blake McCandless showing how well he saves his tires. 1.150 in front of Corey Carpenter. That time by gap was a little bit shrunk there, but it looks like the 1.360 is Corey Carpenter back behind Blake McCandless. Justin Malello is 1.735, and Robert Balcom's 4.5 seconds back there in that 4th spot. But indeed, he is cutting into these guys at a rather rapid pace there, Phil.
No, he absolutely is. Now you got to think about what's going to happen here later on in this going. Is we're 1/4 of the way home. It's a short track, so of course we're going to see a little bit of his way in the way of tire wear. How much of these guys have they used up their tires? We know Blake McCandless notorious for saving the best out of his tires, and he's starting to stretch that lead out now. 1.4 seconds and growing over 2nd place Corey Carpenter. Malello has fallen back a little bit, but who isn't falling off the interval is that number 118. He stayed consistent now, about 4.6 seconds behind our current race leader. But what he's doing, Todd, he's starting to chase down these two guys in front of him. He's got about 15 to 20 car lengths of Justin Malello. We may have a race for 3rd here in about 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, that translates into about 2.2 seconds there between Malello and Robert Balcom. This time by, let's see what happens there. Now it looks like 2.1 seconds there between Malello and Robert Balcom there as these guys going around the track. So Balcom is indeed cutting into him pretty quick here. Just a little bit of insight on the Richmond International Raceway. Last time this series raced here, Phil, only 2 cautions slowed this event, and it came down to a duel between Maverick Morrow and Derek Justice, and on worn tires, Morrow barely taking the victory. So don't count out Maverick Morrow. He's running in the 8th, 6.5 seconds back. Maverick Morrow, another good tire conserver, but last time out, he won this race, so maybe he's looking for a repeat here at the Richmond International Raceway.
It certainly is. And looking down at my notes here through the pit window here tonight, Todd, is we're going to put 47 up on the board. Pit window tonight here, as far as what I believe fuel was about 57 to 60 laps. So we're within about 10 laps or so away from seeing our first round of what would be green flag pit stops. We've been caution-free throughout this race here, 47 laps in to the 160-lap main event distance, the XFM Ram 160 tonight for Richmond, the last race of the regular season for the guys over at the Sim Racing Association's 7-Eleven Super Truck Series. That's been here each and every Wednesday night throughout the following what is now the Monster Cup Energy schedule. they follow that schedule religiously here every Wednesday night. So back here at Richmond tonight. Next week they move over to the Chicagoland Speedway for the first race of the Super Chase. Well, ought to be great. This series open to everybody. If you'd like to come out here and try your talents with these guys, nobody turned away. They'll do knockout qualifying if it comes to that. Come be a part of this series. Find these guys. SimRacingAssociation.com is where you can find all this great series and all the great leagues that make up the SRA. Many great leagues open to all drivers that want to come in and take their talents. A lot of different leagues doing a lot of different things as far as maybe some NASCAR 2-on-3 like we're doing here, iRacing, R-Factor, Project Cars, Assetto Corsa. I mean, you name it. There's so many leagues in here doing so many great things. So check them out. SimRacingAssociation.com is the home base here. And we look out on the speedway. The best race on the racetrack, Todd, looks to be for position number 5. Brandon Lawson has it, but Jason Justice has now found his way back to the low side. That's a great race for that 5th spot down toward turn 1.
Yeah, those two guys have been bantering back and forth here for that position. As Lawson got around the 16 of Jason Justice, then Justice would dive back down to the bottom side of Lawson and able to take it back. Now Lawson's finally got it, and Jason Justice just not going away here with Lawson. So these guys put on one whale of a battle. GT Irizarry right there watching these guys mix it up a little bit. You got Maverick Morrow also watching these guys. So those guys waiting to pounce if these guys make a mistake in front of them.
Well, they certainly are waiting to pounce, as you said. And, looking at the interval up front, it is just growing. Blake McCandless now has stretched this advantage 2.7 seconds last time around. And it is ever growing over Corey Carpenter in the 30. And as we say that, Joe has screamed out the 30, Todd. He's found his way to pit road. So looks like these guys have now found their pit window open.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Is Corey Carpenter down on pit road here. We're going to be the first guy of the leaders to come down to pit road. That Verizon Wireless sponsored machine. Corey Carpenter already got himself locked into the Super Chase, pulling into his pit stalls. Looks like right side tires going on to number 30. I can't imagine that he's only going to take 2 tires as they go around. Looks like the right side down. He's going to go around to the left side up in the air for that number 30 of Corey Carpenter. 4 tires is the call to Kansas Sunoco Racing Field. He's down in the way, and he's going to join the field. So a question, though. He pitted early. He's going to gain a lot of time, and you guys are going to see how fast he is compared to these guys out there in worn tires. How long do you stay out there on those worn tires?
I don't think you stay out more than a lap or 2 more. I'm surprised we haven't seen more in the way of Cumbers to pit road now with 55 laps on the board. But, thinking of that, how much time can you, bear to lose? You got to think these, Corey out there on fresh skins is probably going to be almost a full second faster than these guys. Now we're seeing pit road open. Maverick Morrow has come down to get 4 tires. I believe I also see Steve Looney rolling off the sign here. He's on pit road. Yes, he is. I got him down there on the far end of pit road. He's got right side tires in the air aboard the SMO Hardcore Chevrolet. So 4 tires for Steve Looney. But you got to think, Todd, before too long, you're going to see the rest of this group all on pit road. As we say that, here comes the leader.
Yeah, leader coming down on pit road. Blake McCandless has his number 1 pistol all the way down really, really slow. 40 miles per hour as he comes off the racing surface. And he's down on pit road here, just passing these other pit stops, waiting for Blake McCandless to come to his pits here. I believe 4 tires will be the call. He's got to get in and out fast. He had a pretty good lead there, so we're going to have to wait and see how that's going to all cycle through. But Blake McCandless now into his pit box. Right side tires going on the 166 machine. Looks like they're going to go around. They complete the right side service around to the left side of that 166. Left side tires going on. They're zipping them on. Blake McCandless down and away.
That's the story from your race leader. Last time around, it was Justin Malello scored as the leader. He's now found the Sprint Chevrolet onto pit road, 40 miles per hour. He's on the sign. Right side tires in the air for the Sprint Chevrolet. Right side tire work is down. They'll swing over. Left side tire is going to be a 4-tire pit stop for Justin Malello. Looking like everything quick here. No issues whatsoever. Jack is down. Justin Malello firing up that gas pedal. He's down the way.
Robert Balcombe now coming out of the 4th position down on pit road in that 118 Castro GTX Chevrolet. He pulls into his pit stall. No, he did not drive through it. The 118 of Robert Balcombe. Right side tires going on the 118 machine. Looks like left side tires also going on the 118 of Robert Balcombe. Fresh Goodyear Eagles, and he's going to be down and away.
Also now onto pit road, the number 40 of Brandon Lawson. He's got that Dodge Ram, white and red machine onto the pit lane, 40 miles per hour. Long way down when you pit down toward turn 1 here at Richmond. He'll arc it all the way down to the far end. He started up in that top, two positions here tonight. Brandon onto pit road, and we'll have to see what the story is. Right side tires going in the air, but looking like something happening there. Looks like issues with the lug nuts, so right side tire work down for Lawson. They'll swing to the left sides. Left side tire work is on. 40 truck guys, his work down and away.
5 of Mr. Excitement, David Day, down on pit road. He's getting service to his number 5 Dodge machine. His right side tires going on that machine, going around to the left side. Left side tires is the call also for that number 5 machine. 4 tires and down and away for Mr. Excitement, David Day.
2 drivers yet to come to pit road on this run to complete the round of green flag pit stops. Our current race leader is the number 4 of GT Arizari. He'll flash off of turn 4. He's going to stay out for at least one more lap, but it looks like do we get the story there, Todd? Is second place Jason Justice now coming onto pit road?
No, that's Derek Justice coming down on the pit road. Jason Justice still out there on the track. Same way with GT Arizari there, Phil.
Oh, it certainly is. Waiting for GT and Jason to still come onto pit road. 63 laps in. Here comes the Bud Light Ford. Jason Justice down on the brakes, down to 40 miles per hour. So he's going to pit his way out of that second position. Looks like also staying out on the racetrack is Grant Wesley. Looks like he's trying to play this long tire run, see if he can't gain any track position as well. So he's going to stay out. GT Arizari still out on those older tires, but here comes Jason Justice to his sign. Right side tires going in the air for the driver of the Bud Light Ford. 2-time winner this year in the SRA 711 Super Truck Series. Right side tire work is on. Left sides now for the 16 of Justice. Left sides are done. All clean here on this end of pit road. Jason Justice, Todd, down and away.
GT is already now down on pit road. He's going to pit out of the lead. I believe he was the last of the leaders to come down to pit road. Giving up much track position here for GT is already. Right side tires going on the number 4 machine. Left side tires now also going on the number 4 of GT is already, and they're down and away.
Last pit stop of the run here. The very last one to come to pit road is the number 26 of Grant Wesley. He's brought the Mopar Dodge onto pit road. Right side tires are in the air. Right side tire work is done. They'll swing to the left side. So everybody here at Richmond, just as you thought they would do, a 4-tire pit stop for the number 26 of Grant Wesley. He's going to rejoin the race, the last of them. But the story is, Todd, the first of those drivers we saw come to pit road, Corey Carpenter, well, he's got a substantial lead by coming in and pitting early.
Yeah, a 2.9 second lead over the 166 of Blake McCandless, and that goes to show you going in there early and not staying out the old tires. That's that much faster there. That may play into a factor here towards the end of this race, as now Blake McCandless starting to cut into that lead in that 166 machine, 2.857 seconds back. So Blake is going to run him down here, as Corey Carpenter is out there on a little bit older tires, but it just goes to show you, Phil, how much that number 30 machine coming in early, how much he benefited from that early pit stop.
Oh, absolutely. And looking now onto pit road, I see more drivers have come in that may have, elongated that first run or maybe had a little bit of a pit road penalty. I see Toby Robertson has come for an extra trip down pit road. Also did Derek Justice at number 31. Derek has had an off night here in that Baskin-Robbins Ford. Looks like there may be a little bit of damage to the left rear of the 31, so not sure what happened there, but Derek has rejoined the race. Looks like Toby Robertson now has pulled the 64 behind the wall, as has Taylor Morgan's the 36 and the number 9 of Frank Gibbons. So those 3 drivers that pulled it behind the wall. Looks like out of the 16, 13 left on the racetrack, and currently as we sit, 9 of those will be left on the lead lap. A long green flag run there, Todd. 70 laps in to this far, still caution-free as we approach halfway.
Yeah, still caution-free as halfway is on lap number 80. We're going 160 laps here tonight. We're getting ready to complete lap number 70. Going to go on to 71 here at the Richmond International Raceway. Right now, your current race leader is the number 30 of Corey Carpenter. Blake McCandless running in that second spot in the 166. The 57 of Maverick Morrow running third. Fourth is the 53 of Justin Malolo. Fifth is Robert Balcom in the 118. David Day is in that sixth spot in the number 5 machine. 7th is the 16 of Jason Justice. 8th, the 40 of Brandon Lawson. 9th, the 121 of Steve Looney. Those are the guys on the lead lap. 1 lap down to the leader is the number 88 of Craig Meyer. He's 10th. 11th is GT Irizarry. 12th is the 26 of Grant Wesley. 13th, the number 31 of Derek Justice. Out of this event here this evening, Taylor Morgans, Toby Robertson, and the number 9 of Frank Divins.
Full field rundown sponsored by your friends at the Full Velocity Network. Find us at our home base, fullvelocitynetwork.com. Book your date now. No league too big or too small. Any kind of sim you're playing out there, NR 2003 like we're here tonight doing. We're certainly custom fit for iRacing. We'll do R-Factor, Assetto Corsa, Project Cars. Whatever you have out there, you may be sim racing or even out there doing some kind of other gaming. If you'd like to get us on Full Velocity Network, hit us up. FullVelocityNetwork.com. We'd love to showcase everything you got going on and be part of the ultimate esport experience, just like we have here tonight with the SRA 711 Super Truck Series here at the Richmond International Raceway. Corey Carpenter is your current race leader, 2.9 second advantage over Blake McCandless. The best race on the racetrack there, Todd, is for that third spot. Maverick Morrow is there. He's got a mirror full of Justin Malello. Also, Robert Barkham has entered that fray. A three-truck race for position number 3 as they hit turn 1.
Definitely a three-truck race as they hit turn number 1. Maverick Morrow right now currently leading this group in the number 57 machine. The 53 of Justin Malello running in that fourth spot, trying to get around the 57 of Maverick Morrow. Also the 118 of Robert Balcom running in that fifth spot. Just looking.
All right, well, yeah, we see the 53 of Malello, the 118 of Robert Barkham keeps peeking out. So they're, in a line there, single file for that third spot. But as we said, 9 drivers left to the lead lap, still being paced by Corey Carpenter. Blake McCandless starting to run that interval down now, 2.8 seconds last time around. We saw how much he was able to, stretch his lead to the first run there, Todd. So one would think as the tires start to burn off, if Blake can duplicate that again, with the advantage he had before the pit stops, he should cycle back around and probably chase Corey down, as Blake is going to have probably about 3 or 4 lap fresher tires at this juncture.
Yeah, it just all depends on how Blake is going to use his tires up there, trying to catch the number 30 Corey Carpenter. I know it looks like 2.611 seconds behind right now Corey Carpenter, so he is cutting into that lead ever so slightly every single lap here. He's a tick faster than that 166 machine, but the 30 of Corey Carpenter still maintaining that lead. We're going to have to wait and see if Blake McCandless can run him down. Meanwhile, battle for that fourth spot. The 118 of Robert Balcom down on the bottom side. The 53 of Justin Malello on the top side of the speedway. Malello right now not giving it up that easy, but Robert Balcom drives down to the corner. It looks like he's going to take over that fourth spot.
Yeah, move that Castrol GTX Chevrolet now up to position number 4. Robert, one of those 2 guys out there, need to win to get in to the Super Chase coming up, as we're about a lap away there from the half.com halfway leader bonus here for the SRA 711 Super Truck Series. One of the many awards they put on for the series, and looks like next time around, as they get scoring, it looks like it's going to be that Verizon Chevrolet, the number 30 of Corey Carpenter. I believe, Todd, he's going to be this week's half.com halfway leader award winner.
Yeah, he is indeed the halfway leader. The number 30 of Corey Carpenter stripes by that line. Looking at Blake McCandless, 2.465 seconds back, so he's been cutting into his lead even more here every single lap. So Corey Carpenter's tires starting to fall off there. The number 30 machine, just going to have to wait and see how that's going to all shake out. Maverick Morrow now 3.8 seconds back, so he's been reeling in Blake McCandless too here secretly there, Phil. He's only about 1.2 seconds back of Blake.
Oh, he really is, and I've been riding along, at the back half of the top 5 with the Justin Malello. They're all starting to run down the leader, Corey Carpenter, here a little bit more and a little bit more at a time. But if I'm looking down up and down the scoring list here on Joe Allen, I think the consensus, as we saw in the last green flag run, the 118 of Robert Barkham, he appears to be the fastest truck here on the racetrack.
Yes, he is. As we covered earlier in the race, never count out a guy like Robert Balcom, one of the fastest trucks out there on the racetrack, one of the fastest trucks and or cars any given weekend at these short tracks when we visit them. And as I say that, we're following along with that number 118 machine. He's all over the back bumper of that number 57 Victoria's Secret pink and purple truck of Maverick Morrow as they battle down the front straightaway. Looks like Maverick's going to let off the gas. He's going to give that spot to Robert Balcom, guys. So move that 118 into the third position. This is probably the furthest up in the field we've seen Robert on the lap old tires that they have. He can set his sights forward on Blake McCandless in that number 166 machine, who's reeling in our race leader, the 30 of Corey Carpenter as well. So we could have, some battles heating up here over the next 15 to 20 laps or so between these front three guys who are all the fastest trucks on the racetrack.
Now, Joe, as a guy who's been in these eliminator scenarios here before, looking at guys like Blake, like Robert Bauckham, who have to win tonight to make the Super Chaser. A guy like Craig Meyer, who currently holds that last spot without a win, he can also win to get in as well. But he's got that last spot in points. How much do you think a guy like Craig is paying attention to where these guys are up in the standings, as Craig currently sits outside the top 10, one lap down in 11th?
I think Craig, the way he's running, he just hasn't been one of the fastest trucks all night here at Richmond, unfortunately. And at this point, with him being a lap behind the rear with the complexion and the way this race has gone, he's really banking on a guy like Corey Carpenter being able to get up there, or a guy like Maverick Morrow, maybe even Justin Malillo or David Day to get up there and kind of spoil this thing from Blake McCandless or Robert Bauckham, who are in a must-win situation. And, we could see tire strategy really play a role in this towards the end of this thing. I mean, Corey Carpenter has went out there and he took the lead from Blake McCandless for 23 laps now, and by the time Blake gets there, it's not going to be an easy task getting around Corey. So Blake and Robert may have to rethink their strategy towards the end of this deal as well, as far as when it is they're going to take tires. I don't think Blake will stay on the racetrack towards the end of this thing as long as he did through this first run, when he saw how big of a lead Corey got out there on him and how long it took him to actually run him back down and race him for the race lead. So a lot of different strategy calls could come into play towards the end of this thing, as guys like Blake McCandless and Robert Bauckham really have to take some chances to put themselves in a position to win this thing.
Talking about the complexion of maybe taking chances there, Todd Stanton, I'm looking at the truck currently in the 10th position, the number 4 of GT Irizarry. Now, he is one lap down. We know he's got a good piece. He was up there contending inside the top 5. He's a guy who has no Super Chase implications at all. He's on the outside looking in with points. A win and in scenario doesn't exist for him. He's a guy out there just racing to maybe claim a checkered flag. If you're GT Irizarry at this point, do you throw caution to the wind and maybe make a bold move and try to steal a victory here tonight?
Well, he could try to make a bold move there in that number 4 machine, but being a lap down is going to really hamper his challenges here in that number 4. Like I said, he's trying to get up around David Day right now, running in that 6th position. GT Irizarry is pretty quick, but I believe we have a race for the lead now, Phil, up front. The Blake McCandless machine has caught the 30 of Corey Carpenter.
Yeah, as they hit turns number 3 and 4, now 91 laps on the board. Blake McCandless has run down that big interval. It's now down to precious car lengths as they hit turn number 1 and 2. Guess we can call that truck lengths. It's down to 2, 3 car lengths, maybe even make that one after the exit of turn 2. The 66 of McCandless, he is there. He is closing. A little bit of hiccup off it too, but no doubt he is right there. Corey Carpenter is going to mirror full of that full velocity number 166 of Blake McCandless off of turn 4.
Yeah, definitely having a earful of that 166 machine. Corey Carpenter right now trying to fend him off, hold him off here just a little bit longer than that number 30 machine. Pit stops got to be coming up here a little bit later here for him. Here, it's got to be coming here in about 7 to 8 laps here for Corey Carpenter. I believe he came down pit road about lap 50, 51 there. So that's how early the number 30 machine came down onto pit road. Maybe trying to break it up into a couple different segments in that number 30 machine, or maybe even stretching it here this time in the second session, basically, of green flag pit stops. You're going to have to wait and see. Blake McCandless now right up to the rear bumper of Corey Carpenter.
Yeah, he's got that 166 peak to the low side. He'll pull back in line as they hit the back stretch out into turn number 3. The 30 going to wash up a little bit. Does Blake have the run? Not going to do anything there off of turn number 4, but where I think he's gained the most time there, Todd, is through turns number 1 and 2. Corey going to enter up to the high, kind of sweep it into the corner. Blake McCandless running the low side doesn't quite have the run. As these guys race up front there, Todd, we're going to have a 3-truck race here before too long, because Robert Bauckham has begun to run these guys down. He's cut that down to about a second. He's right there. He's going to have a little bit of sniff of these guys within a lap or so.
Yeah, it was 1.2 this time by 1 second here, almost even across the board for that 118 of Robert Bauckham. He's got to be snickering inside his truck right now as he's starting to run down these top 2 guys and at a pretty good clip, as now Blake McCandless is going to try to work onto the top side, maybe like a high-low switch maneuver for that 166, trying to get around Corey Carpenter. Carpenter drifts up the track just a wee bit here coming out of the exit of that corner. Here comes Blake McCandless. He leaves the door wide open for him down into 1.
Door is wide open, and that 166 machine of McCandless is there. He's going to swing it up high, slam the door shut. Blake McCandless going to reassert the race lead now into turn number 3. Now the race may be for that position number 2. Corey Carpenter to slip back there, but you look in the rearview mirror, you see a mirror full of the Castrol GTX machine of Robert Bauckham. Now Robert going to look to the low side into turn 1. We got a race for second spot on our hands off of turn 2 there, Todd.
Yeah, Robert Bacco, meanwhile, down onto the bottom side here. Corey Carpenter trapped up to the top side, starting to develop a push in that number 30 machine as he looks like he tries to hold on to the bottom, clips that apron just a little bit, and he's just pushing real hard coming off the corner. Back end starting to get a little bit loose on the 30 machine coming out of 4 there as Robert Bacco still trying to track him down about a truck length and a half here from the number 30 for that second spot.
Well, he certainly is right there in the tire tracks. Now the question is, has he run off the tires? As next time around, we're going to put an even 100 laps up on the board. Caution free through the first 100 laps here at the Richmond International Raceway. Great job by all these guys that have come out here to be a part of the SRA 711 Super Truck Series here tonight. An awesome race here. The XFM Ram 160 from Richmond, being led now by Blake McCandless at 166. He was our XFM Pole Award winner. He's reasserted himself up to the lead now with the century mark on the board. Now off of turn 4, Todd, we saw Corey Carpenter being the first on the pit road to the first run. Well, he's found his way to pit road once again out of that second spot. Oh, and yellow flag on the speedway there, Todd. Yellow flag for the first time tonight. Issues happening out there on the racetrack, and just as that pit window was opening up for the likes of Corey Carpenter, he's found his way to pit road. Now, if you're Corey, do you stop on the sign and take tires and take that ELL penalty, and or what do you do at this point?
I don't know. That's a hard choice. I would take my tires and then go back out on the track and then maybe take an ELL penalty and see what happens there. I'm just not 100% sure what I would do in this situation. As Corey Carpenter been fast all evening long, maybe even come back out on the track. It's up in the air.
Well, for the first time tonight now, past the century mark here, we go under the caution flag. We'll let Joe Allen get busy for the first full velocity replay of the night here at the Richmond International Raceway. Let's wait from the signal from the control booth, but looks like race leaders, well, they were thinking of coming out to pit road. Looks like you've had a little bit of fake out there, or pit road may not have been open, so we'll have to, highlight that next time around. But Joe, ready with the replay. So for the first time, let's throw it down to you tonight and show our fans out there what happened.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. We're going to focus our attention here on the number 5 of David Day, the 31 of Derek Justice right there in tow. Coming down the front straightaway here, down into turn 1. All looks well for that number 5 machine of David Day as they go down into the middle of the corner here. Derek's all over his bumper, maybe a little bit faster, but a lap down. It looks like D-Day just gets a little bit loose off of turn 2 there and clips the rear end with that truck there by mistake. So we'll back this up for you guys real quick. So he just looks like he loses the rear end of the truck coming off of turn 2, gets up into the wall. I thought maybe with the way that he clipped the wall, he was going to be able to save it. We'll slow this thing down in slow motion for you. He's wheeling it off the corner. He was practicing a little bit of dirt racing on iRacing a little bit earlier, so thought maybe those skills were going to come in hand. Unfortunately not for him. He bounces off the right rear quarter panel off the wall. Thought maybe he had it right there down the back straightaway, but it loops back around to the left side of the wall. Derek Justice does a great job missing it. Jason Justice goes down to the bottom side to miss that wreck as well. So looks like 100 laps into this event, solo spin by that number 5 machine of David Day is what is going to bring out caution number 1 here tonight at the Richmond International Raceway, guys.
All right, well, guys, looking down the pit road, everybody among that lead group has come to pit road, but one guy we've highlighted here, guy who is in a very precarious scenario here tonight, in the 16th position in the points, probably have his eye on his standings all night long. And that, of course, the driver of the 88, our good buddy, Mr. Craig Meyer. Craig, it's Phil from Full Velocity, buddy. Do you have a copy?
I got a copy, guys. How y'all doing this evening?
We're doing outstanding. Hopefully doing a little better than we are out there. Currently 1 lap down, making laps out there tonight. So far through the early run here, or through these first 100 laps there, Craig, how's the truck been treating you?
Oh, we missed the setup off the truck. It's slick and it's tight. Just can't get a feel on it tonight. It's just one of them nights.
Well, the most important thing we're talking about here tonight, Craig, is the end of the Super Chase regular season. It's the night you get locked into next week and maybe make the show. You're the guy coming in 16th in the standings. You must be looking up at the leaderboard. You got the likes of Blake McCandless or Robert Bacco, 2 guys who are winning in scenarios, and they could knock you out of this thing. What kind of position has that put you in behind the wheel? Are you paying more attention to the traffic out in front of you, or are you up there looking at your F2 and checking out the leaderboard at this juncture of the race?
Well, I mean, really and truly, those are 2 guys that have a really good shot to win here. So I'm just trying to keep it greasy side down and keep it between the walls.
Probably the best way to go there, buddy. Well, as always, it's good to talk to you here on FEN. I believe the pace truck lights are going to go out this time around. So let me give you the floor here real quick. Give a shout to everybody out there, your friends, fans, sponsors, whoever you got out there, buddy.
I just got to throw it out to the family. They let me do this and throw it out to the Red Line team. And none of them can make it out tonight, sadly, but we can make it through till next week. We'll see what we can do. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, buddy. Well, give that thing a good ride, and as always, buddy, roll Tide. Oh, we missed that one. Usually get a roll Tide from back there right away, but I'm sure he's got his hands full down there getting at the controls. That's Craig Meyer there, Todd. The guy in that precarious situation. Are you going to make the super chase here tonight, or is this a guy like Blake McCandless or Robert Barkham? They're going to steal it back from you? Still a lot of racing here left to go here.
Yeah, definitely still a lot of racing left to go. Not sure who's going to win it. I mean, Robert Balcom has been really fast all evening long. Blake McCandless, Justin Malello. I mean, Maverick Morrow can't count him out. Now let's put Brandon Lawson back into the fray. A lot of these guys, Corey Carpenter. I mean, Corey Carpenter's going to restart around the 6th position. Not sure where that's going to be here on the field because I'm sure he's split up just a little bit with some of these other guys. But it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe not. He's going to be 6th. It also could be a field mileage race, as Joe's saying in my ear. It could be a field mileage race because some of these guys only can make it 50, 58 to 61 laps. So we're going to have to wait and see what kind of field mileage these guys got left in their trucks.
Well, and one thing to keep an eye on, too, is, we're going to have 108 laps on the board. 160 is the advertised distance, but, of course, here in the SRA 711 Super Truck Series, the prospect of a green-white checker overtime scenario, exists. So this could bring fuel mileage into the fray. Here is green flag up in the air again. The full velocity semi-rig is pulled this way to pit road. Blake McCandless, Justin Malello had the front row. They are racing high, wide, and handsome, Todd, through turns 1 and 2.
As Malello comes back down the track, almost making contact there with a 40 of Brandon Lawson there. It looks like Malello got a little bit loose in that 53 machine. Here comes Robert Balco back down to the low side. He's trying to get to that 3rd spot, trying to get around Justin Malello. But meanwhile, Malello's still locked in a battle with 2nd place running 40 of Brandon Lawson. There's battles all throughout the field here going on right now.
Oh, all inside the top 10, a single file, a double file restart. I mean, it brings all the excitement right away anytime you get the restart. A guy like Blake McCandless has to love what he's seeing out the rearview mirror. Justin Malello was able to sneak away, but they're side by side, 2-3 rows back from 3rd on back. It looks like the pink slap there, Todd, into turn 1.
Yeah, it does. Robert Balcom gets a little bit out of shape. Lawson almost around. Is he going to save it? Looks like he might do so. Not sure what happened there, Phil.
Oh, my word. What great driving by these guys. Tough break for the 40 of Brandon Lawson. He was not able to save it there. He got it looped around off the exit of turn 2. Caution flag going to be in the air for the 2nd time. Tough break for Brandon Lawson. Just tight racing there for that 3rd spot.
Yeah, tough break for Brandon Lawson in the number 40 machine as he was trying to keep it righted. It looked like he had it almost saved there and just wasn't able to hold on to it there, Phil. It looks like he took a glancing blow off another truck there and was not able to save it. He went around the rest of the way in that number 40 machine.
There's not really much he could do from the driver's seat there. I mean, you're at the entrance of turn 1. It's really, really light as it is, on the tail end there. You have to really get down to that corner, a high rate of speed, jam on the brakes. You run the risk of kicking out that backside, and we saw him loose up there. We saw contact up front with Robert Balcom. Not sure how much of a factor that's going to play in the fact of the 40 spinning out if there was contact after the fact, but let's not talk about it. Let's see what happened. Joe Allen, you ready with a full velocity replay, so take it away.
Yes, sir, guys. We'll throw this thing back up. We're up here looking from the spotter stand view. We're going to pay attention to that number white, green, and black truck on the bottom. That's Robert Balcom. And then we have the red and white truck on the top. That's the 40 of Brandon Lawson here. Throw this thing in slow motion as they dive down into turn 1 here. Looks like Brandon Lawson on the top kind of misjudges where Robert goes. Robert gets a little bit loose, but he doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. He actually keeps it down in the middle groove. And that kind of throws Lawson through a loop there. Lawson starts to come down the racetrack thinking he's going to have a lot more room there. Anticipating that the 118 goes to the bottom. That is not the case. Sends that number 40 machine up the track, gets really loose, starts to look like he's going to come down the track, thinks he may have it saved. He hits the brakes there, gets a little bit into the side of the number 88 machine, and the last hit right here by GT Irizarry in the 4 is what really seals the deal for that number 40 machine. Noses it back up into the wall on the back straightaway. Unfortunate break for Brandon Lawson there. Just tough racing up there in the top 5, guys. All these guys trying to get everything they can get, and, you know, there's not a lot of room for error. Some of the best drivers in the series here out here running, and, you know, just unfortunate break for that number 40 machine of Brandon Lawson. Back up to you guys in the booth.
No, certainly a tough break as it is, but as we look toward pit road, looks like all the leaders have elected to come in and get fresh tires and full of fuel there, Todd, but one who strikes me that hasn't, I don't think Robert Bauckham, the 118, has yet to come to pit road.
No, I don't think the 118 elected to come to pit road. Now coming down on pit road, though, Phil, with the 118 machine, maybe some contact with that car. I'm not sure what's going on with the 118.
Well, it could be one of those scenarios where the contact with the 40, the yellow flag may be deemed as fault of the 118, and the penalty would be the end of the longest line. So that would take Robert Bauckham, you know, out of the race lead, obviously. If the race admin, Jason Justice, at the controls here, is the lead admin for the series who does so much work. If it's deemed that it's Robert Baukham's claim for the caution flag, as he will, he'll have to restart deep in the field. He's certainly got a fast truck there, Todd, but the laps are starting to wind down. We know he's got enough truck to get there. The issue is he going to have time to get there?
Yeah, he's going to have to slice and dice his way between these guys and see what's going to happen. I'm not sure with that 118 machine, and it sounds like there's some issues going on out in track, but these guys are getting it righted there, and hopefully it looks like David Day going to join the tail end here, going to be a lucky dog recipient in the number 5 machine.
That'll put 10 drivers back to the lead lap, and it's one of those things, Joe Allen. It's Richmond. High fever pitch here tonight. A lot of drama and implications. Guys racing for their way into the Super Chase, that being Robert Bauckham, the likes of Blake McCandless, Craig Meyer out there trying to hopefully cling onto those spots. Tempers and fuses at a short track like a Richmond, they could be at high, and by the sounds of it, there may be a little bit of a disagreement out there on the racetrack as far as space with that number 40 and that number 118 machine.
Yeah, you said it right. Tempers are going to flare at short tracks. That's just the nature of the game. When you put a bunch of hothead drivers on a small track with little room to race, guys are going to try to make moves that other guys feel like they shouldn't have made. And, when you add in the complexity of the Super Chase and people trying to get in, people trying to hold on to spots, it makes it an even bigger deal to try and mess with and deal with. But, guys, I'm going to throw it back up to you. They're in the restart zone. Green flag is in hand. Green flag back out onto the raceway. Double file as they get across the line. Looks like Blake McCandless has the advantage across the line as they head down into turn 1.
Yeah, the advantage into turn 1. Corey Carpenter now going to restart with the low side advantage. Is he going to have grip down to the low side? Now, we've seen it be the preferred line on the race start, but Blake's got that tremendous run. He's going to slip up, still side by side for the lead. I'll throw it over to my broadcast partner, Todd Stanton, if we're going to speak of a hot-headed short track type of driver. So, Todd, they're racing for the lead toward turn 3.
Yeah, racing for the lead through to turn number 3 here. Looks like Corey Carpenter has the lead now in that number 30 machine. Blake McCandless now falling back. Maverick Morrow now down to the bottom side. He's running it now into that second spot. He's getting around Blake McCandless. Here comes Jason Justice down on the bottom side. You do not want to be on the top side, and Blake McCandless is on the outside looking in now. Now he's going to have to charge back and try to get by these guys in front of him.
But we know these guys, have really good, they're really fast on fresh tires. Where we've seen that number, 66 machine really stick out is on the long run. So if he can just maybe keep these guys in sights, and if this thing's to stay green, you got to think he's got that truck that's able to do so. But, Corey Carpenter now back in that fresh air. We know he's got a good truck. How about the run for Maverick Morrow? He's been kind of quiet all night. He's been locked inside the top 5. Hasn't been much of a contender as far as the lead, but a short track guy like a Maverick, Todd, it may be only a matter of time that he strikes something. And now as we hit the 3/4 mark in this race, 120 laps on the board, no surprise at all to see a guy like Maverick out there in victory lane.
No, Maverick won this race last time we visited here at the Richmond International Raceway. Maverick won it on a tire strategy call here. Won it on older tires, I should say. He was able to get around Derek Justice, who was on them older tires. Maverick Morrow's no slouch to victory lane at the Richmond International Raceway, and he's showing the way, showing that second place right now, and he's all over that rear bumper of the 30.
Yeah, and Joe, as we highlight that Victoria's Secret machine, we know Victoria doesn't have many secrets left, but do you think our buddy Maverick out there may have another trick left up his sleeve and maybe find his way to victory lane before this thing is out?
You can never count a guy like Maverick Morrow out, and really that goes for you know, the majority of the guys in this field, these are some of the best sim racers that are left in the NR 2003 community. This is one of the most competitive series, I'd say, probably besides that Sunday night FTF Jones Cup series, which the network will be broadcasting that 10 race chase over there starting next week on Sunday night. But, you know, you can never count any of these guys out. Corey Carpenter's up there, Maverick Morrow, Jason Justice always a threat. Justin Melillo loves the short tracks. He's out there threatening in the top 5. I mean, we could have a huge battle for the lead coming down to the end of this thing. Blake McCandless has been dominant all night. Even a guy like Derek Justice just needs to catch one more lucky break with a caution to get himself back on the lead lap, because he currently sits in the lucky dog position. And Derek Justice, you know from him racing over at Richmond on the Saturday night TDR Apple Collision Premier Cup Series, Derek was dominant here several months ago at Richmond in the Cup Series. So, I mean, there's heavy hitters all throughout this field. Any guy can win any race on any given night here. We're missing guys like David Schildhouse. Taylor Morgans is out early with some engine trouble. Toby Robertson is out. He's always a threat to win here. And, guys, we got a battle for the lead now with Maverick Morrow. Corey Carpenter gives that lead up. Jason Justice moves up to the second position. And Justin Melillo looks like he's not going to try to let that 30 slam the door. So that's going to drop kick Corey Carpenter from the lead. Looks like all the way back to that 4th position. Sure, Justin Melillo clear him for that 3rd spot here. So, you know, as we were covering, guys, anybody can come out here and win a race here. These guys are all more than talented to do so. So I don't think you can really count anyone out here tonight.
Yeah, you really can't count out anybody tonight, including that 118 of Robert Balcom, now getting around Blake McCandless. Look at Balcom. Restarted dead last. He came through the field, got around the 40, got around the 5, got around the 166. Derek Justice, got around all those guys. And Robert Balcom now fighting with the number 4 machine. I believe the 4 machine right now currently running in that 5th spot. So Balcom on the move in that 118 machine. Yeah, his temper may have been flaring, but he's used that to assert himself on that racetrack right now.
Yeah, and he's a guy who knows how to, make these sprint races work here as you restart with inside 40 laps to go, and to see if he can't bring that Castro Chevrolet back up here and be a player here. Is Robert's one of those guys to make the Super Chase next week. He has to win tonight to lock his way to the field. There's no other scenario. He has to win to get in. We'll see if he has anything left as he slipped up the racetrack now. Contact between him and David Day. Robert Balcom, as we highlight him, Todd, slipping back to the field. Looks like now may fall all the way back to the clutches of a Steve Blooting machine. They're going to race for 9th now as they hit turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, Robert Balcom was making the way, but I think his tires starting to wear pretty quickly as his temper made him abuse his tires there in that 118 machine. Brandon Lawson now back in front of him. Watch those two guys go at it here as these guys were exchanging blows here over the radio and everything else. But Brandon Lawson right now running in that 8th position, and now Robert Balcom trying to get around him. But Blake McCandless, I'm not sure what's going on with that 166 machine there, Phil. Maybe saving tires, maybe part of his strategy here. Right now running 7th.
Yeah, 7th, which is really puzzling, and back there racing with teammate David Day now for that 6th spot, off of turn 4 down the front stretch. 130 laps going on the board, so we're now going to be inside 30 laps to go of regulation. Don't forget, these guys will make 3 green-white checker attempts to finish this thing under green flag if we were to have a caution flag late in the going. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on. But great racing going on now for that 6th spot. The 5 of David Day up high. Blake McCandless, who had the fastest truck throughout the first 100 laps of this race, to the low side. The question is there, Todd, is he saving tires? Does he have enough time? Smoke coming out the back end. Somebody, around and blowing up there off of turn 2, Todd. Not sure what happened, but caution flags on the speedway.
Yeah, it looks like something with the 57 of Maverick Morrow. Not sure what was amiss. He was your race leader, was the 57, and I'm not sure. It looks like he went around all by himself.
It looked peculiar the way the smoke went. Did an engine come loose, or did he just get in off his mark into turn 1 and go around? Can't really speculate what happened there. Looks like he hit his mark as he did all night long, but I don't know, Joe. Did he lose power, or did he just lose it by himself? What happened to Maverick Morrow to spin his way out of the race lead?
Yeah, guys, this is really it's a deal of a lot of different scenarios that could be happening out there with the possibility of this maybe coming down to fuel mileage. I know we were told that the fuel window could be anywhere between 58 and 61 laps, but that could, vary depending on how guys are running their car. So we'll throw this thing in slow motion. We've also heard drivers complain that the setup is real loose and real tight. Craig Meyer said that earlier. So we've seen a lot of cars, or a lot of trucks, I should say, get sideways as they come down into a corner entry. We see the same thing with Maverick. He just drives across the grooves from the middle down to the bottom. Looks like the rear end just steps out on the 57. No help, from behind from the 16 of Jason Justice at all. He just self-spins on his own all the way up the racetrack there. I don't think he makes contact with anything. He may brush the wall just a little bit here towards the top, but nothing really too heavy cosmetic damage. Really, more than anything, he's just going to have to put 4 fresh new tires on it, get himself back out there. But costly mistake for Maverick Mora up there in the race lead. Just self-spins on his own going through the center of turns 1 and 2 there. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, and we may have a developing story coming on from pit road. Something went amiss there with the 30 of Corey Carpenter, Todd. What happened?
I'm not sure. It looked like he dropped the jack dropped. He gunned the throttle and into the wall real hard. I'm not sure what happened with that 30 truck.
Man, it's one of those things. Maybe we can get Joe Allen with the replay there. Something peculiar happening at the exit of pit road. The 30 almost looked like he got, blocked in his pit stall, and not exactly sure what happened, but there's heavy damage to the 30, and I believe, Todd, he may have come behind the wall. The 30's night may be over. Not sure if Joe's going to have time to show what happened, but definitely something strange off the exit of pit road.
Yeah, definitely strange. His lights are still on atop the beautifully prepared truck out there on the speedway. Beautifully prepared out there. Lights are on. Still looks like Derry Justice going to get a lap back here. The hard way here with Lucky Dog. So not the hard way, but the new way, I should say. It looks like he's going to get a lap back.
All right, Joe, I believe you got a quick replay here, an extended caution flag. What happened to the 30 on pit road? That was certainly strange.
Yeah, guys, great job by our camera crew down here getting us all the angles. We're going to throw this thing in slow motion real quick. Crew drops the left side of the jack on the 30. He pulls out. That white truck there is Brandon Lawson. He just gets into the back of him. These are tight pit stalls, guys, and Corey stabs the gas to try to make up as much time as he can, and just loses all traction and grip and hooks right into that cutout at the exit of pit road, and just enough damage there that it looks like it was terminal for the number 30 machine. Either that or he was just so frustrated and mad at himself for what happened, just decided that he was going to be done with it and park it after that. So not sure if that was a terminal cosmetic damage issue for the 30 machine or not, but unfortunate break for the 30. Really, he looked like one of the only cars that could go up there and compete with Blake McCandless. So tough break for that number 30 machine, guys. Back up to you.
And looks like the 30 of Carpenter. I was going to see if we can't grab him for a quick interview here, see what happened, but looks like he's decided to call it an evening. So frustration starting to boil over here, Todd, late in the going as we have 1 to go on the speedway. And look out there, that Baskin-Robbins Ford we talked about. If he got that lucky dog to get back to the lead lap, can Derek Justice become a player here in these last 25 laps?
I don't count him out in that number 31 machine. You have to see if he can make his way all the way back up through here. There's a lot of heavy hitters up through here, though. A lot of short track aces here. Pace truck taking that hard left-hand turn. We're getting ready to go back to racing here at Richmond International Raceway. Green flags in the air. We're racing. Loud pedal is down the front straightaway here at the Richmond International Raceway. Looks like Justin Molello with the lead in that number 53 machine, leading the 166 of Blake McCandless and GT Irizarry down here into the corner.
And Blake getting really loose in the inside lane, almost washed up the GT. It was almost a 3-wide scenario with Jason Justice behind them. Now contact in turn 3. The 4 out of shape. Contact with the 16. GT Irizarry hard on the outside wall. Now after, all these, the first 100 laps under the green flag, we've seen 4 caution flags here, Todd, through the last 25 laps. And some heavy damage down to the 4. Looks like also heavy damage to the 16 that may put him out of this event.
Yeah, heavy damage to the 16th machine. And tough break for those 2 drivers up towards the front. It looked like they were just running out of real estate there, Phil. And they had a lot of different angles. They're trying to run for the same position, trying to make their way up through there. You don't want one of those guys to take off on you and get in the rhythm. But I'm going to throw it out to Joe Allen, who has that replay.
Yes, sir, guys. We're going to take a look here. number 16 machine. Don't think Jason really got too much damage from the accident, but I believe he was one of the drivers that was on a 1 in park scenario tonight. He just drives down in the corner, misjudges the braking point of the 4 machine, gets into the back of GT Arizari. Luckily, GT doesn't come down the track even further and collect the 66 of Blake McCandless. But Jason just bounces off the 4, sends the 4 back up into the wall there with some heavy front-end damage for that number 4 machine. But Jason looked like his truck was all right. But as stated earlier, I think he was one of those drivers on a 1 in park scenario tonight for causing an incident. Unfortunate break for the 4 machine. GT up there really trying to do everything he could to battle in the top 5 there, and that's a tough setback break. He'll go down, put 4 fresh tires on it, try to fix the damage, and see if he can recover and rebound from that. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Definitely going to have to see if he can recover from that as he's down on pit road there. Justin Malello back up front here. He is your current race leader. Blake McCandless running in that second spot. Third is Brandon Lawson. David Day, Mr. Excitement, is up to fourth. Fifth is the 121 of Steve Looney. Sixth is the 118 of Robert Balcom. Maverick Morrow is seventh. Eighth is Derek Justice. GT is already now to ninth. 10th is Craig Meyer. He is 1 lap down, but he's hanging out there in that 10th position. The number 26 is 11th, and retired from this event now, Jason Justice, Corey Carpenter, Taylor Morgans, Toby Robertson, and Frank Divitz.
All right, so we're waiting. All right, guys, so as we await the green flag, let's see if we can't do a quick full field rundown as I get myself. Oh, we just got through a full field rundown. Sorry about that. Todd Stanton, you know, covering for me, sometimes they say nature calls, you have to go, and that was one of those situations right there. I just had to take that quick pit stop, if you will. These guys out there don't get the benefit of a quick pit stop. I just had to take one myself, so thank you to Todd Stanton carrying me there for a minute. Todd soldiering on here tonight, a little bit under the weather, so I'll let him catch his breath. He allowed me to take that quick sprint away, but lights going out atop that full velocity semi-rig. Hope you guys are enjoying that out there. It's probably one of the coolest features I've ever seen here. As lights stay on, I thought I saw the lights go out, but they're going to take at least one more lap around here at the Richmond International Raceway. 141 laps on the board. So a good old-fashioned, call it a Saturday night shootout here on a Wednesday night. Also, that prospect of overtime looms here, Todd. So we're going to restart with only under 20 laps to go. Everybody on new tires feels like a hero here. Looks like these guys really got the handle here through this short burst. So looking up and down this entire group, now it looks like going to bring 10 drivers, including Craig Meyer, back to the lead lap. It certainly from here could be anybody's race through these last, 18 laps or so.
Yeah, almost the distance of like a Friday night or Saturday night short track race on dirt there. 20 laps, usually about the distance. And these guys are going to have to shake it down. The track's a little bit longer here at Richmond International Raceway than what I'm accustomed to at the local dirt tracks. But this is like a shootout there, Phil. It's going to be interesting to see how this all play out. Tire strategy, out the window. You might as well use everything you got here. Maybe play a little bit of tire saving here for the first couple of laps, and then you just go.
Well, as our buddy Mr. Schulthouse would say, a lot of drama and implications going to be drawn out here through these closing laps as we await the restart. Justin Malello going to have the restart lead. Blake McCandless going to be alongside of the outside lane. Can't imagine he's happy to be stuck on the outside. Row number 2, Brandon Lawson. David Day in the 5 to the outside. Row 3, Steve Looney having a great run. Robert Balcom back there, row 3. Derek Justice, Maverick Morrow, GT Arizari, Craig Meyer, the top 10. Todd Stanton, we're green once again. They're off into turn 1.
Yeah, green down into turn 1. It looks like Justin Malello drifted up the track. It looks like a little bit loose there coming down into 1. Brandon Lawson back down to the bottom side. He's fighting side by side with the 166 of Blake McCandless. McCandless backs out of it just a little bit to reset himself up there on the bottom side. He's got a fast truck aboard that 166. I have to wait and see if he's going to be able to do anything. With Justin Malello and the 40 of Brandon Lawson, both have wins on the year already locked in. Blake McCandless not locked in. He needs to win this race. So right now, running third, that's not where he wants to be. He wants to be in the lead.
And 3 wide off of turn number 2. Robert Balcom up high. Maverick Morrow down low. The meat in the sandwich, the 121 of Steve Looney. He's going to get squeezed out of line. He's going to fall back to the clutches now of GT Arizari. That's racing for position number 6 on back into turn 1.
Want to say hello to the chat box. YouTube chat box has been pretty busy down there, Phil. We haven't made mention of the YouTube chat box. We did miss our picks here this evening, but I want to say hello to everybody out there in YouTube land. Thanks for joining us here on the Full Velocity Network. Great racing going on here at the Richmond International Raceway, and these guys putting on one whale of a show here in the 7-Eleven Super Truck Series.
And they certainly are. 146 up on the board, so now under 15 laps to go in regulation. Can Justin Malello, hold on and pick up another victory in the 7-Eleven Super Truck Series? Brandon Lawson, he's got a fast piece, a three-time winner this season. He's going to, win the overall points championship here. If we count regular season points, he's got by far and away the most points scored and any pressure whatsoever. So he'll lead the top of standings in the regular season. That's going to all go out the window with the Super Chase starting next week. But can he pick up another wing? And the fastest truck on the racetrack there, Todd, that third spot, Blake McCandless, we know he's got a good piece. We know he's fast. Now we're approaching 10 laps to go. Does he have enough time to make this last run?
Yeah, it looks like he might have enough time, but there's a difference. There's a difference between catching them and getting around them there, Phil. You have to really work your way to get around maybe the 40 of Lawson. Lawson right now, last time by ran a 22.758. The number 166 ran a 22.686, and he is a wee bit faster than the number 40 in front of him. But catching him is one thing, getting around him is another. Brandon Lawson holding on to that second spot, drifting up the track there, leaving the door open for McCandless. Here comes McCandless to second.
Yeah, he's got the low side. He's got that preferred line pull. That Blake McCandless machine now back up to position number 2. Can he run down the 53 of Malello? Well, it was about 6 to 7 truck lengths off of turn 4. We'll bring that down to about 4 or 5. The 66 on the move off of turn 2.
Yeah, the 166 right now running in that second spot, about 8 to 10 car lengths advantage for the 53 of Justin Malello. Malello last time by was a little bit faster, but remember McCandless was in traffic. Let's see what this time by brings. 22.848 for Justin Malello, 22.724 for Blake McCandless, who is running in that second spot. He is faster than the 53 and catching him at a really good clip, about 6 car lengths, 6 truck lengths down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that evaporates to about 4 to 5 truck lengths into turn number 3 and 4. Maybe bring that down to about 3 truck lengths now. He is on the move now with inside 10 laps to go. Keep in mind now, here, guys, if the yellow flags to come out from here, we'll be racing back to a caution flag, but now 8 laps to go on the board. Blake McCandless is there, Todd. It's down to 2 truck lengths, call it 1. We have an official race for the lead here, and the late stage is off of turn 4.
Malello has the position coming out of turn number 4. The 166, Blake McCandless, about a half a truck length advantage between himself and the 53 of Justin Malello coming down into 1. McCandless right now running in that second spot. He's trying to do everything he can to get around Malello. Malello trying to stick to his guns, trying to stick to the bottom side of the speedway, trying to keep the 166 of Blake McCandless at bay. Coming down into turn number 3, McCandless trying to get way down on the bottom side, but Malello protecting that bottom really well in that 53 machine.
Well, that battle up front full of championship scenarios, but equal is the race for the 3rd spot between Brandon Lawson and David Day. They've been swapping paint, but as we say that, race for the lead heating up, Todd, as they hit turn 3.
Race for the lead. Malello on the top side of the speedway, backs out of the throttle, coming down into turn number 3. McCandless now to the lead, put the 53 of Malello back to second. Blake McCandless leads this time by in that 166 machine down into turn number 1. Malello running in that second spot.
5 more trips around the 3/4 mile jewel known as the Richmond International Raceway. Blake McCandless trying to race his way into the SRA 7-Eleven Super Chase. Has to win here tonight. He is going to be 4 circuits away at the start-finish line. The 166 out to the lead. Malello right there in the 2nd spot. Brandon Lawson 3rd. David Day 4th. And it's Maverick Morrow currently 5th. On the outside looking in, also in that race to get in scenario, is Robert Balcom, 1.6 seconds of the rear, 118 maybe out of time, but Blake McCandless, he may have the right stuff there, Todd. 3 to go at the line.
3 laps to go for the 166 of Blake McCandless, now stretching out his lead to about almost half a second. It's 0.387 over Justin Malello. Brandon Lawson 0.961 back. He's running in that 3rd spot. Right now, McCandless doing everything he can. He qualified on the pole here at the Richmond International Raceway. He is now leading this event. He's led many laps. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 more trips around the Richmond International Raceway.
Next time by Todd, we're a lap too soon there. We saw Popsicle Sticks in hand, but, Flagler had them in hand, did not put them out there. It's going to be 2 to go this time around. His laps are starting to click off here at a feverish pitch off of turn number 4. McCandless now officially getting the 2 to go marker. So as Todd has coined many a times, Popsicle Sticks in the air. 2 more trips around for Blake McCandless. The race leaders are in turn 2.
Yeah, Malolo trying to do everything he can. He's throwing everything at McCandless, including the kitchen sink here at the Richmond International Raceway. Does not look like he's going to be able to close the gap on the 166 of McCandless. McCandless stretching it out a little bit more. White silk in the air for the 166 of Blake McCandless. Down into turn number 1, McCandless in that number 66 full velocity sponsored machine, now entering the back straightaway in the 166. Second right now is Justin Malolo in the 53 machine. The 40 of Brandon Lawson is running third. Now out of turn number 4, picking up the win here and making himself into the super chase. The driver of the 166 of Blake McCandless.
Blake McCandless taking down the win here, the XFM 160. What an awesome race here at the Richmond International Raceway. Doing exactly what he had to do to make that super chase. Blake McCandless wins that last spot as a 16th driver to qualify his way in. And it's one of those things with those drama scenarios here when you have to win to get in. It just makes for great race and great television. And Blake McCandless, Todd, does everything he had to do the right way. The dominant truck here tonight, the pole award winner, puts it in victory lane. He's going to claim that super chase spot. What an awesome race by these guys.
Yeah, definitely an awesome race by the 166 of Blake McCandless, leading quite a few laps. He thought he threw the race away here, middle portion of the event. Did Blake McCandless as he's drifted all the way back through. Looked like Corey Carpenter was indeed one of the fastest trucks on the speedway all evening long. This time the 166 of Blake McCandless able to chase down Justin Malolo and able to get around the number 53 machine, bringing home the victory, putting himself inside the super chase. Blake McCandless, Justin Malolo finishing second. Third was the 40 of Brandon Lawson. Fourth, 57 of Maverick Morrow. Top 5 for the Mr. Excitement, David Day in that number 5 machine. Derek Justice 6th. 7th, Robert Balcom in the 118. Steve Looney 8th. 9th was the 4 of GT Irizarry. 10th was Craig Meyer, the Punisher, in that number 88 machine in 10th. 11th was 26 of Grant Wesley. Racing Jason Justice finishing up 12th in that number 16 machine. The 30 of Corey Carpenter running in 13th and going to finish up 13th. Tough break for that number 30 machine. Toby Robinson in the number 64 machine finish up 14th. 15th, the 36 of Taylor Morganson. Rounding out your field here tonight, the Richmond International Raceway, driver the number 9, that's Frank Dibbins.
All right, we'll see if we can't get to our post-race show there as we get the full field rundown from the Richmond International Raceway. Blake McCandless going to be on his way to victory lane. We'll see if Todd can't get down there and catch his breath and catch up with our runner-up finisher, that being Justin Malolo. Let's see if we can't grab the guy finishing up in that third spot tonight. Now, he's going to win the regular season, points crown, but also going to be locked into that super chase on the back of 3 wins. And that, of course, our third place finisher, Brandon Lawson. Brandon, it's Phil from Full Velocity, buddy. You have a copy.
I got you.
Brandon, what an awesome race by you guys tonight. Tell us about those closing laps there. You guys with fresh tires with those short burst runs of about 15 to 20 laps were really, really fast. That looked awful lot of fun out there. Tell us how that was.
I think the last part of the run was probably the best I was all race. All race we struggled. I got passed by multiple guys, got roughed up pretty bad. I didn't feel like I was driven with a lot of respect out there on the racetrack tonight. But we were able to, this team just kept fighting like we've been doing all season. We were able to keep the fenders on it and we're able to drive up to a third place finish. But I mean, it means a lot for my team winning this championship or whatnot, the regular season championship. It feels awesome how hard we fought all season, how much fun I've had so far, and we're ready to go on super chase and do some damage. We're that's the only thing we're worried about is winning a championship. It's not anything else. We're worried about winning races every week and winning the championship. And it feels good to be able to drive up there towards the end, like you were saying, with those fresh tires and get a third place finish.
Well, now we talk about the Super Chase starting up next week there, Brandon. You're a guy who's been locked in essentially from the beginning part of the season. So how different is the mentality going to be going forward as we transition now to playoff time where those spots on the racetrack become extra more precious? How's that racing going to be through these last 10 weeks? I believe it's going to be super intense.
I don't know about other teams out there. Mentality for our team is gonna be the same way. We're gonna go out there and try to win every single race. Every single race, we're gonna go into it with the same mentality, and that's winning. And that's our main goal: is to win a championship this season. Mentality doesn't change. It's just the effort. We gotta keep fighting, keep racing like we've been doing all season. We should be fine, but we need to. We've kind of fell off a little bit towards the end of the regular season, so we haven't won since Daytona. It's time to go on the Super Chase with the same mentality and fight hard and try to win this championship. Bring on that trophy.
Well, we can't wait to see where the next couple of weeks here takes us, Brandon. But while we got you up here in the booth off a great third place run tonight, take a minute out there to give a shout out to all your friends, your fans, and sponsors, or anybody out there who may be watching us here live on Full Velocity here tonight.
I want to thank Dodge, Target, Dodge Ram, especially for being on the car all season. We're going to Super Chase with them, and it's awesome. Dodge all the way. Really looking forward to bringing them in the Super Chase. I also want to thank my parents for watching the race tonight. It means a lot having them support me all the time, and when these races are live or whatnot. I'm looking forward to Sunday nights. It's going to be awesome having you guys up there on the booth at Chase and FTF. I'm trying to win that championship too. So we got a fun next few weeks, guys. So I mean, make sure you tune in to these guys. And I also want to thank family and everybody that supports me, and also Derek, Jason, all the work they put in for this lead to make sure it's able to strive. And I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, guys. You guys got a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're looking forward to, man, a name that's going to be very much a fixture through the next couple of weeks on Full Velocity is that of Brandon Lawson. Brandon, once again, from all of us, great job, man, and we'll definitely catch up here in these next couple of weeks. So we'll see you soon there, buddy. Great job.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
All right, Brandon Lawson finished up there in that third spot tonight, but I'm going to throw it down to my broadcast partner, Mr. Too Tall Todd Stanton. Hopefully he's got the breath all chased out there, but I believe he's got the driver of the Sprint Chevrolet. That, of course, is Justin Malello. So let's throw it down to Todd on pit road.
Well, I've caught my breath after that fantastic finish and the great show that Justin Malello and Blake McCandless put on in those closing laps. Justin, you're making a habit of it. I get to interview you once again here on Full Velocity Network. I know it's second place. It's not the win, but second place on Full Velocity Network. Great race. What can you say?
Well, I'd like to be talking to you as the winner, but unfortunately that's not how things pan out. To be disappointed in a second place finish really says a lot about my machine tonight and how well the racing was. I mean, I think we only had like 3 or 4 cautions. I was, the Sprint Chevrolet, the 53, was just hooked up all night. Blake was just the class of the field, and I just, I gave it up there at the end.
Well, those long green flag runs there early on in the going, the long green flag run, did you have any type of strategy, Justin, going into that? I know some of the other guys like Corey Carpenter pitted early, and it looked to be a benefit for him, and he was out to a screaming pretty good lead there out front there, pitting that early. But did you have any type of strategy going if it was going to go green the rest of the way?
Well, I wanted to pit early, but I didn't want to pit and have myself trapped down in the pits. It's a really tough game to play short pitting strategy at short tracks, especially a track like Richmond where you're on the edge the entire track. Even on the front stretch, you're just on edge and trying not to lose it. It was a trade-off. I figured if the first time and the second time I could stretch it out, then the last pit I wouldn't have to save as much. And unfortunately, we didn't get that far to see how that strategy would have played out. But definitely the short pitting worked for Corey the first time, then bit him the second time. So it's always a mixed bag whenever you come to short tracks.
Well, Justin, I know we're going to see you upcoming here in 10 more events here, at least on Sunday nights of FTF. They're coming. You're going to be a fixture among racing there too. But Justin, I got to congratulate you here tonight. Trying to give you a shameless plug here for Sundays, as we do have FTF coming up on Full Velocity Network this Sunday night here for the next 10 Sundays. A matter of fact, and we're glad to have you guys aboard. But I'm going to give you the floor. Thank whoever you want to thank. Throw a plug in there too.
Well, I am really looking forward to the 10 race playoffs at FTF starting on September 17th. All you guys that are out there watching tonight's racing, definitely tune in and watch. It's going to be 10 full broadcast races here on the Full Velocity Network. Sorry to plug that. And I'm really looking forward to it. I know you guys are too. I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I want to thank the Sim Racing association, Jason and Derek, for putting on the series. I want to thank Blake for racing me clean there at the end, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, finishing up second here tonight, driver number 53, Sprint Chevrolet, that's Justin Malello. We're going to throw it down to Victory Lane, Joe Allen, who is caught up with probably a really ecstatic Blake McCandless.
Yes, sir, guys. Down here in Victory Lane with Mr. Blake McCandless, as I had the wrong headset on here by mistake, but that's okay. Blake, hell of a job out there, buddy. Led 78 of the 160 laps tonight. Almost led more than half the race. That is a dominant performance out there, debuting that brand new Full Velocity Network Dodge Ram out there on the racetrack. Tell us about your night, bud. You were certainly the class of the field out there.
Oh man, let me tell you, it was such a fun race. Man, we're in the playoffs. Like, I'm just so excited to say that we're in the playoffs. We came down to a race where our backs were against the wall. We had to do everything we could to find as much speed in the truck as we can. And man, this Full Velocity Network Ram, I'm telling you, it's going to have to be running through the playoffs because it is fast and it was amazing tonight. Just came out blazing in qualifying, and really just the whole race, this thing was able to just, take whatever I gave to it. And man, the tire saving just ended up being huge tonight. I was a little worried. I heard that the tire wear was going to be a little bit different here tonight than it was in the spring, but man, it still mattered. And I'm just very thankful that we had a fast piece tonight, and, great job with the track, the setup, everything. Cause man, it was a blast to run, and, what can I say? We're in the playoffs.
Absolutely. You touched on it a little bit earlier, Blake. Backs against the wall when you came into this event. You knew with that number 88 machine of Craig Meyer showing up and starting the race, it was a must-win scenario for you. You had to go out there. You had to win the race to secure a spot in the Super Chase, and you went out there and did exactly what you had to do. You did it as fashionable. You did it in style. You went out there and you did it from the pole. So from the get-go, you showed that you were going to be one of the trucks to be reckoned with this evening. So congratulations, buddy. I'm sure you had a lot of happy viewers out there on your Twitch stream broadcasting this race. Got to do a couple burnouts for your fans, and got to see your first burnout on the Full Velocity Network, get your first Victory Lane interview. So awesome job, buddy. I'm going to give the microphone to you, fellow broadcaster up here off and on with the Full Velocity Network. Thank your fans, thank your teammates, thank your family, anybody else who might be out there watching, any sponsors, anybody else that you want to thank. Congratulations. The floor is all yours.
All right. Well, thank you, buddy. Well, first off, I got to thank Justin Malillo. He raced me real clean there at the end. We went in there side by side. He raced me aggressive. He raced me hard. He raced me clean. And that's exactly how I want to be raced. So I got to thank Justin for that. I got to thank David Schildhouse for not showing up tonight and giving me a chance, because if, he had shown up here, I might as well just park the truck. I got to thank my buddy Elvis Casanas. He's out there viewing down in Georgia, and hope he's, doing well for the hurricane. I got to thank all you guys at Team Crush, Jason and Derek, for putting on this great show, Keto Logic, NRT Game Servers, SMS Lobby, and all you guys at the Full Velocity Network. You've opened your doors to me to come in and broadcast a couple of races, and I've had an absolute blast. And I'm really proud to pull the truck that has your name on it into Victory Lane. So I'm glad for that. But I just want to put a message out to everybody out there who's watching tonight. We're coming for the chase. We're not going to just be happy that we're in the playoffs. We're going to celebrate it tonight, but we're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout this chase.
All right. Well, Blake, congratulations again. I believe you a couple Full Velocity first. Your first Full Velocity win on the network. First time we've had a broadcaster win on the network. First time we've had a broadcasted sponsored machine win on the network. So a lot of first times here tonight. You went out there, first time winner in the 7-Eleven Super Truck Series this season. So congratulations, and good luck moving forward here in the 7-Eleven Super Chase. And I know we'll see you out there on Sunday nights here starting next week as well on the network with the FTF Jones Cup Series. I know you're qualified for those playoffs over there as well. So we look forward to seeing much, much more from you, sir. But congratulations again, guys. Blake, or Phil, Todd, that's our race winner, Blake McCandless. Back up to you guys in the booth. One heck of a show tonight.
Well, what an awesome race by these guys at the SRA for the 7-Eleven Super Truck Series. We've seen 8 of these races so far in 2017 there, Todd, and the next 2 we're going to see well locked into the Super Chase here. I believe we're going to believe we're going to, I believe it's Bristol, and I know we're going to Homestead. I'm not sure if Bristol's on the list, but I got to go back and peek at it again. But 2 more times we're going to see this series here by the end of the year, and I can't wait. It's awesome racing here on a Wednesday night. No better series to come out to than to the SRA on a Wednesday night and be a part of this series, and just can't say enough good things about these guys and what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things going on here on the Full Velocity Network. Looking forward to FTF. Looking forward to, actually, let me correct myself, this Sunday we're going over to the Hobo Racing League. So, and then FTF is next week there. So I'm looking forward to all the broadcasts up and coming here on the Full Velocity Network. Would like to see some more iRacing come along. Any of the other gamers, if you're listening, any of the other games, the racing games, we'll do it here on the Full Velocity Network. If there's a will, there's a way. I'd like to see some more shows here on the Full Velocity Network. Book us up. It's a fantastic time, guys.
No, it certainly is. And, one more thing we need to say before we get off the airwaves here tonight. We lost somebody very special to the community here this afternoon, guy by the name of Iceman. I can't remember his last name, but I know, Joe, you had a relationship with Scott years ago, a guy known as Iceman, did a lot of renders for us over the years. There's so much work in this community, and a guy I know you go back a lot of years with. So just take a brief minute there to acknowledge the passing of our old friend Scott.
Yeah, a lot of guys know him by his screen name of Iceman. He was a huge contributor over at Stunted Racing, and Adam over there at Stunted Racing. I've known those guys for years and years and years. I know there's some guys out there, Noah Carmichael and a few others, that do some work with Stunted Racing. And, I think the majority of the renders that a lot of guys use out there besides Wolf is stuff done by Iceman. And I know those two guys were buddies, and they got along, and they got at each other's throats a couple times. And, another unfortunate scenario, and another guy lost from this community. He heartfelt thoughts and prayers to his family out there in this time of need. And, we want you guys to know that the entire NR 2003 community is thinking about you guys, and, we're praying for you. And, Scott will be missed. His work will be missed. And, it's a very unfortunate deal, but, the community lives on, the community moves on. The best thing we can do is keep his memory alive, keep his work alive, and, give him all the credit in the world that needs to go to him for all the great things that he did for us for years and years and years. So once again, from all of us here at the Full Velocity Network, heartfelt thoughts and prayers to Scott's family in this time of need. And, that's a good way to close off the show here tonight, guys.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, of course, next up for us Sunday night, we head over to Hobo Racing, right back at the Richmond International Raceway. Sunday night, airtime, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, coming up next Saturday night, we make a trip over to SMO Hardcore. It's been some time. The Wounded Warrior Project tribute race coming up next week. Cannot wait to get back there next Saturday night to SMO. See Jamie and Andy and Bob and all the guys that make this YouTube chat box come alive night after night. Can't wait to get there. And then the big ones, the FTF playoffs over at the Chase playoffs over at FTF. That starts up Sunday, September the 17th. So check out the website, guys, for the full schedule, fullvelocity.com. So until next time, for Joe Allen doing a great job over on the booth there, Todd Stanton alongside, good to have him back. For all you guys out there in YouTube land, I know we're going through some horrific weather time here. Our thoughts and prayers with everybody still recovering in the Houston area, and for all those in the South, especially in the Florida region. Take cover, guys. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and good luck, and I hope everybody can check in and let us know to be safe there. So get a chance if you're stuck in this storm, head over to the Full Velocity Facebook page and just let us all know you're safe out there. So until next time, guys, for the ultimate esporting experience right here on Full Velocity, we'll see you next time. Good night.